All right, Jeff Gerwich here with Modern Tactical Shooting, and in my Training Fails Part 2 video, you may have seen this optic right here or in some YouTube shorts of me doing some reloads with this rifle, again with this optic right here, and this is from Dynamic Optronic Technologies, and this is the DOT EHS-1 or Enhanced Holographic Sight. So in this video, I'm going to be giving a full review of this optic, so let's go. So first off, I don't have any professional relationship with DOT. We started chatting together on Instagram about 6 months ago, and they're like, hey, you want to try one of our optics? And I'm like, sure, you can send one out and I'll give it a whirl. So I've actually had this for about 6 months. I've been sandbagging on doing a review just because I've been pretty busy lately. But I've got well over 1,000 rounds through this. Now, some people might say, hey, that's not a whole lot, but I think 1,000 rounds is pretty good just to see if this is operationally proficient. And I can tell you so far, yes, it is. It holds 0. And as far as my normal range use, this has worked well. Now, for reviews, I don't beat guns to death. I haven't thrown this out of windows or dragged it behind trucks. I basically just run it like any other optic I would on my rifle under my normal shooting conditions, which is out of the range, trying to do fast splits and run and gun and things like that. So let's get into the basic specs of this optic. Again, this is the EHS-1. Now, it has a 1 minute of angle dot with a 65 minute of angle circle around it. The reticle is very much like an Eotech aluminum body. It has 0.5 MOA adjustments for windage and elevation, which are spot on. Zeroing this really was a breeze. The controls are very responsive, has multiple daylight settings, perfectly bright for the most brightest daylight out in the North Carolina sun during the summer, and it does have a night vision setting. And really what's unique about this optic right out the bat is you can see it's purpose-built really as a high mount optic, comparable to your 2.3 inch high mounts that are out there. So it's purpose-built for people who are into high mounts. And just shooting up close, we're talking 10 yards and under, I found this to be very fast. Now, I'm typically not a high mount guy. I actually have another optic with a high mount, and I plan on doing a dedicated video on my thoughts on high mounts, but really I'm a 1/3 co-witness type guy. But I did find shooting up close, 10 yards and under, the optic or the reticle was very easy to pick up. Now, this is powered by a CR123A, and the battery life listed for this optic is 1,000 hours. Again, I've had this optic for 6 months. I haven't left it on the entire time to see if it's truly 1,000 hours. I haven't needed to change the battery at all. And this does have a shake awake feature, which, to be honest, I didn't read the instructions. I set it in shake awake and I couldn't get it to turn on the next day. That's because it has about an 8-hour window of shake awake. And after 8 hours, it's going to permanently shut off, where you will have to hit the button again to restart it or turn it back on. But in that 8 hours, yes, it does work. But it took me a little bit to figure that out. I actually had to contact DOT because honestly, I didn't read the instructions. But yes, it does have a shake awake. And it does work. It just has a window that once you pass about 8 hours, it will go into permanent off mode and you will have to return it on. But the feature does work great. And again, I haven't left it on to see if it's truly 1,000 hours. But for the range use I've done over the last 6 months, it's still on the same original battery. So yeah, this optic works pretty well, especially up close and fast. I had no problem maintaining the same splits I do in my drills with any other really optic setup, so it works pretty well. So what are the cons of this optic? Well, one could say because it is made in China, that is a con, and I completely understand how some people are immediately going to write that off. They're not into Chinese-built optics. Myself personally, I am a consumer and I'm here for value for money. I have a few aim points and I've got some Trijicon optics, but let's face it, they're pretty pricey. And I own at least a dozen rifles, and I'm not going to trick out every rifle with an Eotech or Aimpoint or Trijicon. I like to save money. I'm a value for money type guy. That's why on at least half my rifles, I run a lot of primary arms optics. And on my pistols, I have some hollow suns. So, and I know primary arms are made in Asia, Philippines. Heck, they could be made in China. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. But again, I'm in value for money. And let's face it, half the stuff you own is probably made in China. And if you're an iPhone user, well, they're still produced in China. So if you're one of those people that, hey, I'm a no Chinese optics type guy, hey, I get it, but I'm a value for money guy. And if it works, then I'm all for it. So that can be seen kind of of a con with this. Now, the price is $599.99, which personally I think is a little steep. I'd like to see this for about $500 because let's face it, this is going against Eotechs. And yes, some Eotech models, this is about $50 cheaper. But I think if they were able to get this price down a little bit more, then it would something you can super consider buying against an Eotech. Again, especially if you have multiple rifles, I'm not going to break the bank to put a super high-end optic on every rifle, especially if it's just a range gun you're out practicing with. And I think that's who this optic is really meant for. If you're into Eotechs and you're into high mounts, well, this is going to save you some money. Again, seeing how the base of it is an integrated high mount. So even if you do get an Eotech around the same price, you're still going to spend probably at least $100 on a high mount. Whereas if you get the EHS-1, well, again, it's purpose built to be a high mount, so you're going to save a little bit of money right there. So overall, what do I think about the EHS-1? Well, it does what it's advertised to do, and honestly, I found it to be a fun little optic to play with out on the range. Especially at 15 yards and under, I was pleasantly surprised how responsive it is. Again, I'm really not a high mount guy. I don't have a lot of experience with high mounts. I really need to play with them more. Hence, I'm going to do a dedicated video on high mounts. But yeah, I found it very fast and easy to pick up in this high mount. So I definitely need to explore high mounts a little bit more. I'm not sold on them yet, but I think this optic was a good introduction into high mounted reticles. And again, I think, who is this optic for? It's for those people, you own a ton of different rifles and you don't want to break the bank sticking, let's say, Eotechs with high mounts on all your different rifles. This is going to save you, again, a little bit of money because it does have that integrated high mount. So I think this is something definitely worth looking at if you're into, again, Eotech style holographic sight reticles and high mounts. Well, this, no way around it, this is going to save you a little bit of money. So with that, that is my official thoughts on this optic right here. If they let me keep it cool, I'll play around with it a little bit more after this review. But if I got to send it back, then so be it. Again, I really don't have any full relationship with Dot. They just reached out to me. And yeah, it's a cool little optic. And again, I know some people are immediately going to turn it off their mind because it's made in China. But let's face it. Again, half the stuff in your house is probably made in China. And if it works and can save you some money, then heck, I'm all for it. Now, you can find out more information on the EHS-1 at dotronics.com, or I've called it dottronics.com before, but I'll put a link down in the description. And as always, I'm Jeff Gerwich, and hopefully this is entertaining somewhat and informative. Thanks for watching.